Ladies and gentlemen, you're not stupid if you want Mercy being reworked. Let's just get that out of the way at the start of the video. All right, welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa, and I'm joined by the glorious Josh. Hello, Josh. Are you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. Don't worry.
Hello. So, the whole thing with Mercy needs a rework, the whole hashtag rework Mercy movement and all of that stuff. Now, we made a video and we went into massive detail on this. And if you guys watch the whole video, towards the end, we really sort of elaborated on what we wanted to happen to Mercy. However, it's like most people only really got to the point where we're like, oh my god, mass res is stupid, and if you want it, you're an idiot. Which, I've got to be honest, I've got to apologise a little bit for that. That is a bit of an extreme thing to say. You're not stupid if you want that. Maybe you want that for certain reasons. However, what we want to talk about in this video is why we don't think mass res is the answer, but Mercy does need something to make her more impactful, and that could be in the shape of a rework. But we think she should be more sort of, actually fill that battlefield medic role. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I think the word that I get caught up on here more than anything is that rework term. Rework to me is like you go in and you change all the abilities and you change tons of stuff about how a hero works. Like if you look at Symmetra from when she was released to Symmetra now, she is a completely new hero in pretty much every single way. So when people say, yeah, we want Mercy reworked, well, to me that's like, go in, change everything, rip everything out. And I don't think people really want that. What people want is just more engaging buttons to play as Mercy, and this is something that we sort of touched on last time. Unfortunately, we touched on it towards the end of the video, so I don't think everyone picked up on it, but the idea of giving Mercy, things that are just satisfying to do. So if you play Zenyatta, you get to like right-click and you get to blow people's head off. You get to like, Transcendence is a huge, impactful ability that does tons of things all at once, and it's really easy to see what it's doing. Mercy doesn't get that satisfying moment. You don't get that huge punchy moment of, I did this, I made this happen, I'm the greatest,
but she
everyone
did.
Pay attention to me.
That's the big thing, and that is the big problem here. She did. In the past, the massive old like super res that resed everybody, which we don't really like, and it was changed, and that was probably for the better of the game. However, that had a massive impact. It was like, I'm Mercy, boom, I'm Mercy, let's go. Then we get the rework of Mercy, and we had the instant cast single target res, which again had the boom on Mercy. It was like, you fly across the battlefield, and you cannot deny this. This was really cool, like a great feeling. You fly across the battlefield, you see like your main tank has died on the front line, you fly straight in from the back line, you res him instantly, and then you Guardian Angel away. That was a really cool feeling. It was very impactful, but as we since learned from that being forcing Mercy to be very dominant in the meta, it was a bit too good, so it got taken away. And now we've left with this Mercy, which doesn't really have anything like that.
Yeah, she's lacked like a lot of that just instantaneous punch that people need, and this is something that we've been asking for forever. Just the ability to have a button that just lets you do something bigger, like just an instantaneous spot heal or something like that, to give you that ability to have that moment where it's like, I am Mercy, this is my identity, this is what I do. It's ideas such as, if someone's on low hit points, you press a button, like you press reload, for example, when you have your staff out, and suddenly you get supercharging and you can heal more, and they get like a heal shield or something like that. You can give them some overheal or something, and you get that moment of like, I'm doing something really cool. Oh, Reinhardt's taking a lot of damage, I can react to that, make him super healthy, and then make him go in and do like more fighting, like a mini nano boost or a mini steroid for him or something like that. Like giving her an ability, giving her a way to stand out and make a play, I think is the big thing, because Mercy right now is just completely dependent on everybody else to do things around her. Like if you want to get a res off where you need to have the tank shield you need to have D.Va matrix you need to have the other support pump healing into you so you can do that. So it doesn't even really feel like your play. It's not your moment, it's the team's moment, but you want your moment, right? You want your thing in Overwatch, you want your cool thing to happen. I mean, riddle me this, how does Mercy get play of the game? How does she do that currently?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't. Like, what I think, really, is she needs something like Repair Pack. That is a really good ability on a hero that... it's quite questionable that it's on it. Like, Mercy has no way of saving anybody from burst damage when she's supposed to be the hero which is the best healer in the lore. She's supposed to have the whole fantasy of... I'm in the battlefield, I'm saving people from death, I'm bringing them back from death, which she does do, but her current res, you go in, and you sort of, you're twiddling your thumbs, right? It's like, yeah, I'm resin, hope I don't die, hey, I've brought somebody back, and that's cool. But the reason why that's in the game, and why res was changed like that, is because to have the instant res was a bit too strong, just like having the mass res was a bit too strong. So I think you need to look at different ways of making her more powerful, and making her more impactful. I want to play Mercy, but I do not want to play the Mercy as she is right now. We covered this in the last video where we were just like, look, Mercy is kind of boring to play, and she is. She feels really limp. She feels really weak. I like ideas of things like overhealing, things like she does more damage to, let's say, more healing even to targets as they've got lower health. Maybe she can do other things like, I don't know, supercharge other healers. That might be funky. I don't know how that would work as a mechanic, but anything which is this, I mean, like you touched on this before, Josh, in videos a few weeks ago, where it was the whole idea of steroid buttons being added to the game. And a lot of heroes do have this sort of button which gives them a lot of punch. You look at Hammond, he's got his shield, so he can go into a massive fight or bang, and then his shields are on. It feels great. It feels really good. That's much better than standing there with a slow heal over time. Well, what is it? 50 heal per second over time with your beam. Like, I'm healing, but Reinhardt is dying. Oh no. I don't know why I'm doing this to the black and white cat. Anyway, early in the morning, Reinhardt's getting drilled, but I'm standing here with my staff rammed up. That's what's going on. It's not good. She needs something to just like burst. Like, I kind of like that idea of reloading. Now, that's an interesting idea, that is.
It's a button that she doesn't use. Yeah, it's a button that she doesn't use. She has it available to her. And I do want to,
maybe overcharge the staff so it works and then it sort of overheats and it doesn't work anymore, but it's like a burst heal.
Or maybe you can, like, hold the reload button, sort of you store up healing in it, and then you can give someone healing in one big whack or something like that, something to where you can just do something cooler with it, because it's a button available. Because I'm always aware of, like, you can't just add more abilities to the game without thinking about how that's going to work on a console controller. This is the world we live in, where we have to consider the limitations of, the console players can only have so many buttons on the controller, so you have to tie it into existing buttons. And reload is a button that Mercy does use, yes, on a blaster, but doesn't currently use it on her staff. So you have like an open slot there to do something with it, to actually add something there. And I don't know what it could be. It could just be something that makes her more exciting to play. Because I really want to touch on this point, because Sty mentioned it already in this video, which is that Sty and I personally do not play Mercy. We do not play Mercy because we find it quite boring. And the reason why, and that's a very harsh word, but the reason why we find it boring is because it doesn't have that high impact moment. It doesn't have that independence. It doesn't have that ability to suddenly do something that defines play. And this is where that frustration, this is where that rework Mercy idea comes from. So when we come across and say, yeah, we don't play Mercy because we find it a bit boring, it's because, well, yeah, we kind of agree with you that we want to have it be a more interesting hero. I play a lot of Zen, I play a lot of Ana, I play a lot of Lucio, because those heroes do let me go and do things. They do have those high impact moments. I hit a sleep dart, I feel amazing. I hit a right click as Zen, I feel amazing. I hit a boop as Lucio, I feel like a god. It's like, cool things happen on those heroes. Mercy needs that cool thing. She needs just that thing that makes her like, oh my god, Mercy, you really did it, and you really outplayed us there. It's like, she doesn't kind of have that. If she doesn't die, then that's sort of, oh, Mercy's doing a really good job. She's not dying. And that's sort of how you spot a good Mercy currently.
Well, I think we need to look at elegant solutions for this. Like you said, reload is an unused button with the staff equipped, and I think that's probably what or if I was a game designer, that's probably where I'd look. When I look at other things like Valkyrie and her res, I think her res is actually kind of okay how it is, because it has to be like that just for balance reasons, but it's still okay. You can still get a really good res off if you've got great positioning, if you come in at the right time, if your team help, if Zarya bubbles you as you go in, your Reinhardt gives you a shield, you get defense matrix on you. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, we know from watching pro scrims, especially with the UK team, that when Mercy was going for a res, the Mercy is going, I'm going for a res, I'm resing, and everybody would help the Mercy res. That's actually kind of cool, and I like that. Valkyrie is, okay, again, a bit of a limp feeling ultimate, apart from when you whip out the pistol and fly towards people and start shooting them. You could argue that that's the only time she really feels like crazily impactful, because you're like essentially invincible and you're flying towards people, shooting them in the face with a weapon you don't need to reload, which is actually really powerful. And we've all been there and died to a Mercy that's just on a rampage, because, well, I mean, that's just what some Mercies do, and I can't blame them, because they're probably after like some excitement in the gameplay, like, yeah, let's go, it's go time, forget healing or damage boosting, we're just going to kill people. So this idea of the res, what would I do, the reload even, what would I do to it? Well, I think we can both agree here that Mercy just needs some sort of burst healing. Now, whether that's some sort of way of amping up her own heal, I don't know the figures involved in this, because this, again, would come down to balance and all of that stuff. But if, imagine she could, like, double a healing rate for 2 seconds. Now, that would up it to like 100 healing per second. That would allow her to pump out 200 healing over the 2-second period. Now, remember, theory crafting and stuff like this is kind of, it's iffy. You can throw out ideas. They can be really bad. And, I am literally just making this up as we go along here. But that might give her the chance there to rapidly rebuild tanks that are getting deleted. Because when you look at her and you compare her to a Moira or an Anna in a healing composition or in a team composition that relies heavily on tanks, or, you know, they don't even have to rely on tanks. You could just have one tank in the team. But if your tank's getting burnt, if you're Moira, you know what to do to keep that tank up. You throw the heal orb, then you start primary fire healing into them. And you're going to keep them alive. Or you throw the heal orb and coalescence into them. You're probably going to keep them alive. If you're Zen, you're going to use Transcendence. If you're Anna, you're going to throw the nade and fire into them. If you're Lucio, you're going to try and amp it up. If you're Mercy at the moment, you just do nothing and hope they don't die. So she needs something like what all the other healers have got, because that would play into her whole fantasy of being like the best healer, which is her fantasy.
Careful, like the idea of adding a steroid, because this happened. Okay, I'm gonna harken back to my days being much younger when I had a little bit more hair than I currently do now. I used to play a lot of League of Legends last week. Cheeky son of a gun. Right, I used to play a lot of League of Legends, and one of the big complaints at League of Legends is eventually all of the champions, I suppose, in that game started feeling exactly the same. They basically added the same kit to every single guy. It had like a dash, a 3-hit combo, and then some sort of ability that did something slightly different, perhaps some damage or something like that, and then an ultimate that was slightly more interesting. But everything had like a dash and then like either a button they pressed that made them do more damage or a 3-hit combo or something like that. So we want to be careful of going like, oh well, everybody should have a steroid of some sort, because then everybody feels like the same thing. Like Lucio has Amp It Up at the moment, Torbjorn has his button that makes him stronger at the moment, a few heroes have their buttons that make them a little bit stronger at the moment. Perhaps with Mercy, and like I want something impactful and instantaneous. I really like, my mind is hitching on that idea of like charging the beam, right? I've been playing a lot of Smash Bros. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm playing a lot of Samus, and like you get to charge up a huge beam cannon in that one. If you just hold reload, you can like charge the staff and have like a big golden ball on the end of on the staff. You let go of reload, and suddenly it explodes into healing. I don't know, something cool like that, right? That would actually be really fun to do. That means that you can then, you know, in times when it's downtime, in times when there's no damage happening, you can make a decision and start doing some stuff. Or in a combat, if you start seeing a lot of people taking damage, but no one's really critical, maybe you can charge that ability up and then do something with it, have a high impact moment, get that big surge of healing out. And it's also not instantaneous and free like Brigitte's heal is. Like, I winced a bit when you mentioned Repair Pack, because that ability feels as broken as hell to me. And so, not having like another instantaneous huge heal, I think would be good, but having a charged heal where a choice has been made, that suddenly becomes a lot more interesting. How do you use that? How do you deploy that? How do you get value out of that? And suddenly you get decision making, you get more depth to the character, you get more depth to the game. And that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, it's a better gameplay flow, right? Because right now you just heal, hide, hope people don't take so much damage that you can't do nothing about it and they die, and hopefully they die in a position where you can res them, because that's the only thing you can really do after they've taken burst damage. And then it's just not great. Guys, we do agree that Mercy, I don't like saying she needs a rework, like Josh said earlier on in the video, is drastic, because a rework is you just totally redevelop the hero. But I think what they've got is a good hero that just needs a little bit of something to make it a bit more impactful to play. And when I say impactful, I'm not necessarily saying having more of a, well, I guess I am, because I'm saying impactful, but not having more of an impact in the game, but making it more interesting and fun and dynamic to play, which it isn't at the moment. Like, I completely agree that's what she needs. So what I want you guys to do in the comments below is let me know how you would change Mercy. What would you do to her? I think things like giving her mass res back are slightly extreme, because mass res was taken out of the game for a lot of good reasons, and I don't know, and I honestly think that Blizzard would never go back and re-add abilities that they have removed from the game, because I think that is it's almost like an admission of defeat, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd necessarily go for that.
I'd also mention, like, on the mass res thing, just to cap off on that, Nuki, who is manager for British Hurricane and used to be a Mercy main herself, had a great little thread on Twitter about sort of why it would go away, and I 100% agree with this, and this is why sort of the idea of bringing mass res back is so strange to me, because mass res is really effective if you have a lot of tanks, because you get instant value. Like, resing 500 hit points is just massive value. Or Reinhardt, it's like 500 plus a 2,000 hit point barrier. That's massive instantaneous value on that res. So if you bring mass res back when GOATs, the current sort of tanky comps, are strong, that's really just going to solidify those comps existing. And Nuki sort of went on to explain that, yeah, it will just turn everything into a tank fest, basically. And then once you kill a couple of tanks, well, Mercy just brings them back, and the fight just extends and extends and extends and will never, ever end in current meta. So mass res, I think you put that one on a shelf for now. And maybe in a future, meta where it's a lot more, I don't know, easier to counter and more mobile and more agile, and deaths come in a little bit differently, maybe it can come back then. But as it is now, mass res would just completely push everyone onto tanks. You'd never see a DPS hero ever again. Everyone just play Reinhardt, D.Va, Zarya forever and ever and ever, and that's all we'd be left with. A grim future. We could all agree.
Oh dear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think about this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. Make sure as well you click the bell after you subscribe to the channel to alert yourself to when all videos go live. And if you're already subscribed, go and click that bell so you get every single video we make, because you love all the videos, ladies and gentlemen. And also, you can follow Josh on
Twitter @1_amongst_many, and on Twitch as well, ESL_1_amongst_many. Playing a lot of Smash at the moment. Going to be playing some Overwatch again pretty soon, though. Should be good.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.
Bye.